So, good afternoon, all. My name is Wendell Daniel, and welcome to Street Mike. And my apologies, we're actually a few minutes late today, unusually because we had some technical issues. But this geezer here, next to me, his name is. Who are you, geezer?
Danny Roscoe.
So, Danny, I believe you are better known as the other half of the two coconuts, true or not?
The better half, of course.
So, Danny, as the two coconuts, yeah, we are currently live and direct on Tommy Robinson's Twitter page, yeah, and hello to all of you who are watching. And we are at Speaker's Corner, live and direct, and we are in association with Urban Scoop. So we are in association with Urban Scoop, and today is going to be a very special day because we're starting with the two coconuts. So, Danny Coconut, tell me about yourself.
Me, well, everyone knows who I am. I'm one of the coconuts on the block, the one who gets right to the facts, and facts don't care about feelings, and I think that I use that as my main principle.
Oh, facts don't make what?
Facts don't care about feelings.
Oh my God, but I care about feelings, and the great thing about this geezer, him and I are two different people, and that is why we're going to be such a great team. But let's start first of all, and then you are going to get some religious chat. But before we do, one thing Danny and myself are going to be doing is a podcast of two coconuts. And as part of that podcast, we are not afraid, and we are going to be focusing on black violence. We are not scared to do that. And one of the issues we are going to be discussing is the horrific murders that are taking place in this great city on a weekly basis, not on a weekly basis, regularly. But only last week, a 14-year-old boy, and we can talk about that, was killed on a bus. Danny, how did you feel when you heard another brother was killed?
You know what it is? It's more disappointment than anything else. It's disappointment that Sadiq Khan has his knighthood and yet he's not got the violence under control. It's disappointing that London is this prestigious place, but yet nobody really is safe against these types of crime. And I'm saddened again for the family who has lost somebody because they were mandatory forced to go to school and they were just going about doing the right thing, and this has happened. So this falls firmly on Sadiq Khan and his policies that he's implementing and his policies that he's not implementing, because I don't care what people say. We need to up the stop and search. I don't care if it hurts anyone's feelings right about now. I think the lives of these young black children are way much more important than whether or not somebody's getting racially profiled or not. What do you think?
The only thing I agree with what you've just said, Coconut, yeah, is the issue in regards to increased stop and search. I disagree with you, Danny, because it seems like you're putting the blame on Sadiq Khan's back when black on black violence, black on black crime, the issues are multiplex. It's to do with societal failures. There's cultural issues, yeah. There's also issues to do, yeah, with families, yeah. With the 14-year-old who was killed last week, his mum said she was not surprised that he was killed. She also said that he's been groomed since the age of 6. And then I asked myself the question, hold on, if someone has been groomed from the age of 6, where was that person's family? Where was that person's dad? And I will begin by saying my condolences on the loss of a child, but what I have subsequently discovered is that the child's dad passed away. So there was no father in the household. And as a direct result of that, from my understanding, yeah, social services will become involved, and that's where the systematic failures began. And whilst being in social services care, mum was crying out for help. and
what
he was
happened?
groomed.
And what happened though? This is why I say it's firmly on Sadiq Khan. Okay, the mother said he was groomed by the gangs by the age of 6. She's gone out and she's reached out to these people. She's got social services, and yet nobody is helping her. So that isn't the fault of no father in home. That's not the fault of
How
parenting.
is that the bloody fault?
How is that? That is the fault of Sadiq Khan, who
Sadiq.
is removing these types of services because he wants to open up more migrant hotels on these streets in this country than anywhere else. Yeah,
Danny.
in London, there's more. If they want to spend £2 million on bringing these migrant people over, in a posh hotel, then they can spend that on the social services to make sure that these kids are not dying on a regular basis.
The next thing you're going to be telling me, is that the unhealthy levels of black and black violence and the high levels of killings in this city, it's down to not Sadiq, Tell me this, Danny, does drill music impact upon the behaviour of our youths who are going out there? They're looking at these drill artists, as icons. They are listening to what they're singing about stabbing and killings, and then they're going out to do it themselves. What has that got to do with Sadiq Khan?
You know what? Let's just let's just ban Grand Theft Auto as well.
Coconut,
let us ban Grand Theft Auto. Let's ban everything, and let's do everything we can apart from go to the root of the cause.
It's a contributing factor.
Street Mike, yeah. Listen, right? The contributing factor is not that. It's there's nobody there to pick up these people. There's nobody there to help these children. Where's the youth clubs? We all had youth clubs. Where are they gone? Where are they? There's nowhere else, but I bet you if you go onto a migrant hotel map, you're going to find 4 or 5 in London alone. Where?
Danny,
that's the problem.
You are
That is the problem. That's what you need to understand.
So it's down to migrant hotels.
It's down to the invasion of Britain that this is happening. All of these crimes that are all going on, it's all down to the invasion of Britain. And I tell you why, because the eyesights and the money is going elsewhere. We're not protecting our people. We're saying, do you know what? We will remove that service and then we'll give all these people all this benefit money.
So, Danny,
and
are you
else.
telling me the fact that society has...
London's fallen, not society.
When I came to this country in 1973 from Barbados, my father worked for London Underground. Yeah. My stepmother, she worked, but when she finished work, when I came home, I had food on the table. Yeah. I had things to come home to, but now the mums and the dads are out at work. That means, around the 2-3 o'clock time, when the kids are beginning to congregate outside of McDonald's and outside of town centres, that is when a lot of these crimes, a lot of this violence are taking place. So there is a societal failure. Also, it's not all down to government. How about we taking control
100%.
of our own?
The black community, take control of your kids. 100% on that as well, because that's not happening. People are going around saying that they can do what they want to do, and they're going to be on the back of this kind of positive discrimination, that they are not going to get stopped and searched because they don't want to be racially profiled. They are not going to be, put over in the corner because they will then cry racism and this types of stuff. It's an important point you pulled up. When you came here, you had your family, but the government gave your father tax breaks. It allowed him to be a worker, okay? But the mentality wasn't this drive to go and get money, or a drive to have children because the benefit is propping you up. And this is government failures as well as a people. I've got to say, the black community's got to do more.
But just now you was blaming Sadiq Khan.
It is Sadiq Khan's fault. Okay, you just said you know exactly when the kids are coming out of school and where they're congregating. And there's no police there. They're not shutting these establishments down. Your fan are shutting things down. Let's shut down McDonald's and all the chicken shops and everywhere they congregate. And let's put all the police officers there so people don't get stabbed. I don't care if this is authoritarian, as long as our children are safe in the streets. You can't then turn around and say, oh, do you know what? This is so authoritarian, it's oppressing the blacks. You know what? To the black community, stop stabbing each other. That's it.
Do you know something, Danny? I have enjoyed the discussion we are having, and it's very important. But one thing which I do agree with what you said, is that there is a need for an increased police on the streets. I believe people are going to cuss me for this. We have an amazing police service in this country. I would agree there are elements within that police service who are unworthy of the service. Yeah, but we do have great police service, and I want to see more police on the streets. I want to see our police stopping and searching people. But there's a distrust within our community. Why do our people distrust the police so much?
I don't know that because I don't live around black communities. I don't go around black communities.
See, you're a coconut.
Why
don't you live in Brixton or somewhere? You're a
do you know
coconut.
why? Because I value, to be honest, I value my life and my children's life, to be fair. And I wouldn't go into an area that is systemically, they're depressing themselves. And this is the thing, right? Throughout school, you're getting critical race theory saying that the white man's doing this against you. You won't ever achieve anything because of the white man. So you're getting taught this, right? You're getting taught that your friend over there that you've had for 4 years, now he's going to be oppressing you, or his family is going to be oppressing you. So when you come out, you've got no vision. And this is the problem. When the kids have no vision, what are they going to do? They're going to go out and they're going to hang about. They don't care. They're not going to get anything. The teacher told them that. You're going to have to work twice as hard. The mum's told them that because a Marxist has told her that. Then if they do go to university, they get indoctrinated into the Marxist sense of, of what they're doing, and they'll come out as these kind of radical Black Lives Matter activists. This is
Big up Black Lives Matter. Big up.
This is what happens, okay? Rather than having a structured approach to everything and saying, do you know what? Let's remove critical race theory from this. Let's tell the kids that they are, they have just as equal rights or equal opportunity to do what they like. They've just got to go and do it, yeah? And if there is any type of government interference they need to be doing, that is to make people of all equal to achieve, or the ability to achieve, because at the moment in time we're going into the white ghettos and they're not getting the money because the black ghettos are getting all the money. So the country, there's a lot of things that needs to happen.
Do you know something? One thing that is really great, and don't be distracted by other people around you, Danny. One thing that is really great, and I hope you guys and girls watching, is that the two coconuts, we come from different sides of the fence. The side of the fence I come from is better than his side.
No, mine's just reality, Mine's looking at things with, I'm not oppressed. I've got a mind that I can speak about, but it's good.
But I think the great thing about what Danny and myself will be doing as the Two Coconuts podcast, number one, we're going to be coming from the streets. We are not going to be coming from a studio with lights and all graphics. We're raw, man. We're from the streets. But the important bit is, Danny and myself, we are going to tackle important issues. We are going to raise important issues in the black community that others around this country are afraid to tackle. And the first one is going to be black on black violence. And please, if you are watching this, a couple of things that's going to be happening. As a direct result of we working, don't be distracted, Danny. As a direct result of what is going to be happening, we are going to be working in partnership with Tommy Robinson, with old Tommy, Tommy, and also Urban Scoop. So we are live and direct on Tommy Robinson's Twitter page, and also we are here in association with Urban Scoop. And if you remember, it was Tommy Robinson who raised important issues that's got national and international prominence. And when I checked this morning, the film that he released back in earlier on last year, was it June, July last year? When I checked this morning, it was on 154.3 million views. And we got people like Elon Musk. We even had debates in Parliament this week. That is the power of what we are now hoping to get involved with. And we are not just doing this for social media clicks. What we want is solutions. We want solutions, but what will be happening is that there will be a documentary film coming out in the future. So if you are interested in engaging with Tommy Robinson and also with Urban Scoop, send an email to blackonblackviolence@yahoo.com. So send an email to blackonblackviolence@yahoo.com. I'll say it again. Send an email to blackonblackviolence@yahoo.com, and we are going to be making a documentary film. If you would like to make a contribution, if your family has been involved in some way, if you've been a victim of black on black violence, please contact me and I will make a disclosure. My interest in this, a lot of you may not know, on a weekly basis, I'm in an industry involving death. I see a lot of people who have died. I have seen the direct consequences of gunshots. I have seen the direct consequences of zombie knives being thrust into an individual, and it is harrowing when you see that, and I want to see it stopping within our community. But the important bit, and in a minute I'm going to come to this man, but the important bit is crime affects all communities, black, white, pink, blue, green, every community. But our main focus as the two coconuts is black on black violence. Yes or no, Danny?
Yeah, it is. I can't disagree with what you've said there. And also, as a call to action type of thing, we've all got to remember that the 1st of February is a time when we're going to be coming down in London, and Urban Scoop will have all of the right information. So if you're not subscribed, and if you are, then send it to your friends, send it to your granny. Let's get as many people out, because ultimately we all have a place to play. We are all part of a cog, and if we all ain't pushing in the right direction, we're not going to get it done. The two coconuts, yes, we are going to be having the conversations that others won't have, and hopefully that will prompt people into having those discussions at a higher level.
That's right. And also, Danny, I'm led to believe that you coconut, you went to see Tommy Robinson last week, and I did my research, and I've seen you've had 150,000 views on Twitter. I've seen up until this morning you had 2.7k views on your channel. So what was it like for you when you went to see Tommy Robinson last week?
Well, ultimately, I went to see my friend. We go back, so I went to see him, and it's not something that I wanted to see him in that kind of situation, but, I have to do it because I have to show my support, as you will do to any of your friends who are in that situation. But, when we was going in there, we had to go through all these multiple doors, and the realization of the loss of freedom is there. Once you go through one door, another door opens, or you can't access that door until this one's open and you're standing in the right place. It is terrible what happened, but they tried to give me a non-disclosure order by saying that I wasn't allowed to discuss anything with a conversation with my friend. I'm there as a personal visit. Now, outside, what I did is I ripped it up. Nobody's going to censor what I do and what I say, especially when Tommy Robinson is in prison himself, okay, because he didn't want the world to be quiet. He didn't want to be quiet, so the world didn't see it. And if he didn't do what he did, and if he's not in prison, the world wouldn't be talking now about the grooming scandals that are happening. So sometimes when they try to zip up your face and they try to say you can't do anything, you just got to stand out there and say, do you know what? I will take what it is. But I'm going to embarrass their NDAs and all that, because nothing so far has happened. So I've got to just pray that, it stays that way, and they won't be slapping anyone else with this type of tyranny.
But Danny, I've got to ask you a question, because you are a bloody coconut, mate. What have you gained by disclosing and ripping up your NDA? What have you gained?
I've gained one of the most important things. I've gained that the establishment, it's not the prison because it's higher up. So I've gained that the establishment told the prison to try and gag people, okay, and hope that they would do it. And when they don't do it, they've got nothing to fall back on.
Yeah, but Danny,
that's what I've
you
gained.
did
It's
it
tyranny.
for clicks.
It's tyranny.
It's not tyranny.
It's tyranny in the making.
You did it for clicks.
Listen,
and hold on, let me done, Rasta.
If I want to do clicks, I can do a click right now.
Let me talk, you coconut. Yeah. When you did this, Danny, yeah, on Twitter, you got 150,000 views. And I checked this morning.
Yeah.
And on your Danny Uncensored, you got 2.7k views.
Yeah.
So what have you gained from what you did other than getting views? You can't go and see Tommy again, so why have you done it?
Well, I'm glad that you're the only person that's looked at the amount of views. I don't even know it's that many views. So big up all the people who are watching it. And what I've gained is if the government want to try and say something to you, or the establishment want to try and say something to you, and you don't stand up to them, right? Then you're just going to be gagged and you're going to be quiet. If you do stand up to them, what have they gained from doing it? I've exposed that they've got nothing, and all they want to do is oppress the British working class for speaking out, for going and seeing Tommy Robinson in prison. That's it.
But you know something, it has been good to have this discussion with you. But like I said, the two coconuts will be coming live and direct from, and when will the two coconuts podcast be starting?
I'm not sure. We'll have to this month. This month it's important that we don't just chuck them out left, right, and centre.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it, but we'll hope to get one out by the end of the month, 100%. But you've got a few things. You've got to do first, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got a few things, and later on this week, I'm going to be flying off to see family in America. So I'm going to be flying off later this week to see family in America. And, whilst I'm in America, I may go over to a state in Washington to have a peep at what is going on with the inauguration. So, I'm heading off to America later on this week, and I'm going to be visiting family, and then I'm going to be heading off to the inauguration of Donald Trump as the 47th president of the United States. Do you think it's going to be a good presidency?
It's history anyway, and it's going to be a great presidency. We've seen now how the coalition of people that he has around is made the whole globalists, their network, decrease. Who would have thought it? Mark Zuckerberg now is saying, you know what, the Biden administration did it, but he knows what's good for him and his company. And this is what people are doing, and it's a bit like ripping up the NDA on a whole different level, because he is saying, you will not get away with this now. So if they thought that they were in the right, they would carry on doing it, because they know that they weren't in the right. They're now coming on board to what Trump's doing. But, it's history in the making anyway, and it's going to be another presidential presidency where he will stop the wars when, the left or the Democrats have started them. So I can't wait for it to be fair.
So you are looking, just like me, I'm looking forward to be in America with my family. I'm looking forward to going to see I'm just going to be going there visiting. I won't be taking none of this stuff with me. I'm just going to go there, have a look for myself and be part of history.
Yes.
And it is going to be so great. So, Coconut, all I will say, we've given people a little taste of what the coconuts, I'm just pulling you around purely for composition reasons.
He just wants all of the screen there. You see how he pushed me out when he's talking?
No, listen, I always pull you because I'm looking at composition. But the important bit is, this is a taster of me and Danny.
Yeah.
We come from different sides of the coin.
We do, and we get on, but we're both passionate about our things, and we both won't be budged on our things, and that's why it's important as well, because there's only one side of the story, and it's normally always the Wendell side of it that you see on the TVs, and I'm like some fringe person that nobody really likes, right? But we see now, for the amount of black people who are coming out and saying, no, actually we agree, and we are now willing to stand and stand on our convictions. We've seen it everywhere. So having us two collide, it's going to be a great thing, and as I said, it's not necessarily for just for it to go out. It's to make something happen. It's to make people understand and have that conversation. Maybe they'll be using mine and your conversation to then tell somebody else, do you feel this way? Because they don't want to come out and say it.
No, that's correct.
That's the whole point of it, to have the conversations.
But the important part is, Danny, we are starting off that conversation. We are facilitating. See that big word there, Rasta? We are facilitating. Get out your thesaurus. We are facilitating a process. And what we are looking for is solutions. We're not, just like Danny said, we're not just interested in clicks. If you want clicks, go elsewhere. We are going to be raising important issues, and then we want collaboration with partners. We want people. We want, for example, the police, social services. We want the black churches stepping up and assisting, because there needs to be improvements in this country. There needs to be policies, procedures. But what I want to see, I don't want to see my black brothers and sisters killing each other. I don't want to see my white brothers and sisters killing each other. But we're here, the coconuts, and it has to stop. The levels of black and black violence in this great city is too high. When you look at the numbers, the Office for National Statistics, all the statistics are there. I've got them in my bag. But this is not for now. Danny, if you come quickly, and then we're going to be going to get some religious chat. So he's the other half of the two coconuts. I'm the better half, and he's the other half. So Danny, the two coconuts are going to be coming to you live and direct. Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be good fun.
But why do you think a podcast called the Two Coconuts Podcast is required? Why do you believe it's required?
Well, like I say, time and time again, there's only one variation that comes out into the mainstream media. So many times I've been spoken to by the GB News, by the Talk TV, but they still say to me, Danny, you have to, or you can't say X, Y, and Z. And usually it comes around Tommy Robinson. And I refuse.
Oh, Tommy!
And I refuse to do that. So this here is going to show. Let's go back to the beginning very briefly.
Yeah,
okay?
go on and look at the cameraman.
When I came here and Wendell Daniel said that I'm one of the few people that goes to a Tommy Robinson march, right? So go 4 years later, when I'm still going out, I'm still giving my opinion, I'm giving content, and now we are seeing more and more black and ethnic people, women, children coming over to the marches and the rallies and whatnot. And that's the importance of conversation, because now they can see, hang on a minute, it's not what they were speaking about, it's not what they were told by this one-way narrative. And that's why it's important.
That's correct. And the first time I met Danny, I'm saying, this coconut, what kind of bomber, whatever. And I did believe he was a coconut. And also I did believe that Tommy Robinson was a right-wing racist. I did believe that narrative. I then did my own research on Tommy, and I've subsequently found that that's just the narrative. When you get to know Tommy Robinson, you will see that he's a true patriot. You will see that he is uniting the kingdom. It's because of Tommy Robinson that Danny and myself are here.
Got together, and that's the importance of it, and especially people in the community who would not have a time of day for me. They look at you and say, well, hang on a minute, why are you supporting? Why are you around? Or why are you doing what you're doing? Okay, and then they look into it, or they come and ask you, and you say, look here, look there, look at the Oxford Union speech, and this is why these conversations are important. And we called it the Two Coconuts. Okay,
the Two Coconuts Podcast.
The Two Coconuts Podcast. Because that in itself sparks a conversation.
Of course. And it is so great that because of Tommy, we have formed a partnership. And when, Tommy's been banging on about uniting the kingdom, the fact that you and I are now on Tommy Robinson's Twitter page, and many people are believing that Tommy Robinson is a right-wing racist. If he was, would we be on his Twitter?
Exactly, and that's what I say time and time again. And we've both had a lot of time around him, so we could tell whether or not he was racist or not, which we all know is a government establishment narrative that gets.
So Danny, for the people just joining, they may not have heard the discussion we had earlier on in relations to the Two Coconuts. Yeah. So tell us more. We'll just have a quick discussion about black on black crime. Then you can talk about when you visited Tommy. So, in relation to black on black crime, black on black violence, as a coconut, what do you want to see happening? Why is it happening? Why is it happening? Why are the levels so high?
What I want to see happening is, number one, I want to see increased stop and search that will racially targeted stop and searches, on the age demographic, young boys who are going about in groups of more than three. I want them all stopped and searched
So are you saying you want our black boys stopped and searched? Is that what you're telling me?
I want them stopped and searched every single time, because there's going to two things that will happen. One, they won't have a knife, and two, they'll get so sick and tired of it, they're going to go in. Both things are going to sort the problem out shortly, quickly, short term.
But what is the unintended consequences of stopping? Because I'm disagreeing with you here, and I'm going to justify why I disagree with you. But why must you target black boys only, and what are going to be the unintended consequences? Is that not going to increase the distrust within the community, the distrust amongst the police, and that's going to cause even more problems? So what are you talking about, coconut?
Well, it can be if you look at it that way. But if you're looking at it and you're going to tell Sir Sadiq, he's going to come out and say, we're going to be doing this for these reasons, okay? When crime has got down to an acceptable level within black communities, because you've got to remember, Operation Trojan, that's been going back... Trident, sorry. That's been going back...
Coconut.
That's been going back, in the 2000s. This is not a crime that's just started, okay? So when it gets down to an acceptable level, then we can go and look into it, right? But what it's going to be doing, it's going to stop people carrying knives. It's going to make people say, do you know what, I can't be bothered to go out in a gang or in a group, I'm going to stay at home. These saves lives. And that's the ultimate cause, is to save lives. But on the back of that, they've then got to look at why it's happening. They've got to have all these reports and inquiries. They've got to have a report into why it's happening within these communities and what can they do to stop it. One of the things is to have the elders, to go into youth centres. People like Wendell can go and say, look, this is about, live streaming and camera work and whatnot, and try and educate the children away from what they're educated at the moment, and that's the chicken shop. And from the chicken shop, they've got a box that they're going to sell, they're going to take to the estate, and then they're going to get a knife in return.
But Danny, let's not talk fluster and... What, you're not telling me the cause. Why why are my black brothers and sisters carrying a knife and killing each other, or taking a gun onto the streets and killing each other? What is the reasons? Once we identify the reasons and the failures, we can start addressing the issue. So why?
Well,
you don't know, do you?
The reason why is because there's no deterrent, okay? If I'm here in my black self, if I go over there to a police officer, all I've got to do is say, you did that because I was black. That puts that police officer on the back foot.
So you're saying the only deterrent is having a police officer who will be able to have a conversation with a youth? Is that what you're saying to me?
No, the only deterrent is what they do. Every single right-wing protest is they come in hard, They let them know that they are in charge. So they need to go into all these little estates. They need to get a squad that will roll up and just go through the estate, and we're going to stop and search everyone. And once you are arrested, we're going to put you in a detention centre. We're going to put you in a
got a clue what goes on.
Listen, the Nightingale hospitals, they got up so quick. We can put up prisons so quick, and we can tell people 28 days, and then we're gonna find out exactly where you need to go. Bring back Borstal, bring back all these things. These things are deterrents.
You live in the 1950s and the 1960s.
Where there was no crimes.
Don't come up with rubbish. There were no crime. Borstals, you can remember the films. Quadrophenia and Scum. True or not?
Exactly.
You remember them days?
And what happened to white working class? What happened to him?
But there was higher levels of murder in them days. But the difference being, you weren't getting the knife crime. You had gangsters.
So the police had a role, and that role of the local police officer was to keep you in line, right? Yes, it's authoritarian, and that's what we need. The local Bobby to say, hang on a minute, I know who you are, I know who your mother is, I know your father works down here, I'm going to tell him what you're doing. All these things are hardline policing, okay? And that's what we need to bring back. Not this namby-pamby, we'd like to stop and search you, but because we may feel it's racially profiling, or you may get offended, we're not going to do it. And you're going to walk down and shank someone around the corner.
But Danny, what I'm now going to say, I'm going to get cussed for it. There is a culture dynamic to all of this. Why are my own brothers, why are they not there with their women supporting their children and nurturing them children, protecting the children and guiding the children. I'm not saying all, let's agree on that, yeah. You and I are there, yeah, with our children, yeah. But it doesn't always happen. And our mothers, our queens, they're out there fighting on their own. So why are the black brothers, not all of you bruvs, not all of you, why are they not there? And also, yeah, why, when the father isn't there, why isn't the uncle and all of the great family not congregating and protecting and helping out and nurturing that child? Why does that child then have to be groomed by a gang, be pulled into the gang, being given drugs or given whatever? Why, Danny?
Well, can you agree with me that there is a black economy, not as in a black market economy, an economy for black men through money, drugs, or whatever they're doing within the estates or within their settings? Can you agree that there is that?
I would argue there is. I'm
going on.
Yeah, there is an economy with black and white, but we are dealing specifically with black.
Yeah.
So the answer to the question is yes.
Yes, okay. So this economy is the young men are getting arrested, okay? The fathers are getting arrested and they're going into jail, okay? So what happens is this. The government says, we'll support your children anyway to the women, right? And then in this area, there's not a lot of men. So the men who are there now, they're a commodity because now there's too many women in there. What will happen is that person doesn't want to go with one person. Why would he? He's going to say, I can get 3 girls. I'm not going to marry myself off. And there it goes. Because of the promiscuity in the areas, the mothers are having childs, the man's just gone around the corner, and it's a big cycle.
So let's agree there is a cultural family dynamic that has to be addressed. Yes or no?
Yes.
Would you agree the churches, the black churches around this great city have a role to play in reducing the unacceptable levels of black and black violence and crime in this city? Yes or no?
Yes, they've got a duty to tell people. Now this is where it gets a bit sticky because it's not single mothers, okay? It's single mothers with multiple partners, okay? 4, 5s, you know? This is where the problem is. This is where the church needs to come in and start saying this is a problem. Because you've got to remember back in my era that I like to be in, the 1960s, 70s and 80s.
You're an old boy.
If you had a child out of wedlock, you were shunned, you were taken out. But now it's accepted.
It's the norm.
Now it's the norm, it's accepted. And we need to get the church to start saying, do you know what? We need to start shunning people and having that type of just that type of society. Because then people will start looking for life partners, not just the finger around the corner.
The great thing for those who are watching and listening, myself and Danny, we are facilitating a process. We are starting a process of discussion. But what is important, is that we start that discussion, and when we do, we can engage with other partners. And what we are doing is not just a talking shop. It is starting that process, bringing people together, and what we want are solutions. What type of solutions we want, Danny?
We want it ultimately to stop and people to look at what's going on with a critical mind. We don't want it to be overshadowed, you know, and it goes into many, many things. As you say, it's not a talking shop, it's a solution. But what ultimately I want to do is bridge that barriers, you know, because if I see Brother Wendell going into Parliament, you know, because he's speaking to a specialist person on black crime, I will be so proud that we have allowed something to happen, okay? Because that's what it's going to be. From now, we see there's no solutions, and all the people are doing is just making it go round and round and round. So when the 2 coconuts come out, and we start talking to the people who can actually make something happen, and we start looking at other solutions, and we then start seeing solutions and start seeing things going around, just like what Tommy Robinson did all the way back with the rape of Britons 1, 2, 3, and 4. You know, now we are seeing the conversation being done. So that's why it's important, because it's a bridgehead between, you know, the people who won't speak to me, right, and then the people who might think Wendell's a little bit too liberal, and then listen to me to say, hang on a minute, it works. That's what I hope.
But together there's a balance. But what we also want to come out of this is a documentary film. So, excuse me. So that is being planned. And if you would like to make a contribution to what we are saying, please send an email to blackandblackviolence@yahoo.com. So blackandblackviolence@yahoo.com. We are going to be starting the process in association with Tommy Robinson and Urban Scoop, and we will be raising awareness. And over the coming weeks, there's lots of people out there who are doing some great work. There's a guy I forgot the name, but there's a guy who's doing work with Enfield Council, and I heard him on LBC earlier on this week, and he's actually going onto the streets and he's bridging that gap, and people are bringing knives to him.
And that's the thing, yeah. People like him is forgotten about.
Yeah.
He's one of the
Excellent
people.
job.
But what we can do is, because we've got a great collaboration with Urban Scoop, and that has an access. We can, Brother Wendell can go on and interview him and see what he does.
That's
and
right.
that opens up people's minds, and it opens up people's eyes on what he's actually doing.
And we've no doubt that a gentleman in America called Elon Musk will be watching.
100%. He always watches.
But Danny, let's wrap up, and then we're going to get some religious chat. I haven't seen Bob yet. I don't know if he's going to be here, but it has been a good day today. We are due. Is Bob here? Let me go and look. But we are due to be here until 4 p.m. And I'm just going to have a look to see on how many people are currently watching. So I can see we've got 30,000 people watching. So Danny, you got 30,000 people watching. So for them 30,000 who are watching, if you want to follow me, you can follow me on YouTube on Street Mic live stream, STREETMIC live stream. So go on YouTube, smash that subscribe button, make sure you follow Wendell Daniel, that's me, Street Mic, STREETMIC live stream. And this is the quality of the stuff I produce. And Danny, how can they follow you?
You can just follow me on Twitter at Danny Unfiltered. You know the rest of it. I don't really do the YouTube that much. So just come onto Twitter and we'll have the conversation.
So that's how you can follow me and follow Danny. But the two coconuts will be bringing out a podcast later on this month, and it is going to be hot.
Be good.
Big up.
Big up, Street Mic.
So Danny, we're now coming to an end of, well, you are.
I am, yeah.
I'm not. I'll probably be going till about 4:15. But this has been your first occasion as a coconut down at Speaker's Corner. How's it been for you?
Yeah, it's always great to be down here. It's great to get the debates. It's great to watch what's going on, and it's always a good time when we get down here.
But has Speaker's Corner reached your expectations? Because in a few moments we're going to sum up about what you and I are going to be doing on the Two Coconuts podcast. But what's it been like for you?
It's always great. It's always good. It's busy. People down here. People having conversations. And one thing from the last time I was here, it's different conversations, which not just strictly going down one way now. So that's good. We're getting a bit of variety.
But let's talk about the Two Coconuts podcast, because at the end of this month, Danny and I are going to be releasing a podcast, the Two Coconuts, and it's not going to be in a studio. It's going to be on the streets. Street like I'm from the streets. So, Danny, what kind of things are we going to talk about?
We're going to talk about everything that they don't want us to talk about, everything that's not been spoken about in the media. And one of the biggest things, because obviously I'm somebody who's against all this Black Lives Matter style things, but I do understand the importance.
I'm for it. I love Black Lives Matter. That's how I come out.
See, that's why he's a coconut. But these points, the points away from it is important. So I'm hoping that we will get to the we'll dig right down to the roots of it and try and get some causes.
But Danny, let's talk specifically on Black Lives Matter, and then we can talk about black on black crime, specifically the murder which took place last week on a bus with a 14-year-old, then we can talk about the whys and the hows is so much crime taking place. Well, specifically about BLM, Black Lives Matter. Why don't you like it?
Because it's a Marxist organisation designed to take away the gauge of black people and the real plight of black communities and what's going on. What they're doing is they're indoctrinating the children to say, that they are different from, let's just say, white people, because that's the critical race theory that they are pushing. So they are creating a problem and then coming out and saying, well, we are the solution. So how can you be the solution to the problem that you're creating and expect to have a final outcome? You can't. The Marxists just want to enslave black people, and the way that they've accepted it and the way that they've come towards it, it really irritates me, because I know what they're trying to do, and what they're doing is mentally enslaving you while saying that you are oppressed by somebody else. It's crazy.
I think Black Lives Matter done an amazing job immediately after George Floyd was murdered. As a direct result of Black Lives Matter, I become the main focus in London of all the BLM protests. I used to come down speakers just over the road every single Sunday. I got to know the Black Lives Matter. We will go on every single protest, raising awareness, just like what you and I are going to be doing. It's about raising awareness. They were saying and are saying, yes, black lives do matter. So don't forget, but we agree all lives matter. But just like you and I, and the same argument is going to come across, Danny, because we're going to be focusing on black crime, black on black violence, but we know it affects everyone. It's the same as BLM. It affects everyone, but we had to focus on that small proportion. We're shaking your head for your coconut.
Because what I'm trying to see is what fentanyl Floyd had anything to do with the UK. Now, we know that Elon Musk is very much, promoting what we're trying to achieve in the UK. But I don't see anyone in America now going out on the streets because we're having a black on black death pandemic. But they expected us to come for one person, George Floyd, to take away all the controls and everything that we had. No, that's why it's a Marxist organisation, and it's a Marxist narrative designed to encapsulate your mind and not allow it to be free. It's simple. How many people in America get killed on a daily basis? How many black people? How many white people? Well, we don't have them here. There's one person who was high on fentanyl. He's the one, the focal point. It's ridiculous. Black lives don't matter.
Because someone was high on a drug, are you saying to me that is justification for anyone, especially the police, to kill that person? Is that what kind of stupid coconut argument you're coming up with?
Free Derek Chauvin. You think he killed him? Listen, he was taking fentanyl. He put fentanyl in his mouth, and it got into his bloodstream, and he killed himself. Yeah, how you can even say that it was a murder? It's ridiculous. But what even more ridiculous is this: how comes it come to the UK? Okay, he got murdered by the police officer. What's it got to do with here in the UK? Nothing. The same way as what's happening in the UK, they don't care in America. They don't care in Australia, unless it's the pali-Nazis.
I can't believe you, Danny. We're talking about solidarity. We're talking about standing shoulder to shoulder. Hold on, let me do my thing.
I tell you solidarity. Yeah, Unite the Kingdom. That was solidarity with everyone in the UK. We came together for a common purpose. That is the type of endorsement that I like. Yeah, not these Black Lives Marxists.
So hold on. So, are you telling me that people from America supporting us here in England is wrong? Is that what you're telling me? Think carefully before you answer that question.
No, I'm not saying that supporting us is wrong. What I'm saying is the black on black violence in London is not being they're not marching in America for it, the same way as they demanded us to do it for fentanyl Floyd. Yes, they go and support United Kingdom. They go and put out the relevant news. But to them in America, when they've got their own problem, they're not saying, oh, let's go and focus on London's gang crime, when we've got LA gang crime, we've got all around America gang crime. That's the problem.
But can't you see it happening, Danny? When we raise awareness, when our friends in America help us, when something big happens here, when we tell them, they'll be raising awareness on our behalf. And in no time, we might be getting, as the two coconuts, possibly another 150 million views.
Yes, as the two coconuts, we're doing it, but we are not criminals who are high on Class A drugs. No, we're
come
not.
on!
We're exposing
How can
it.
you be
This is
saying?
what I can't.
Oh my
Black
God!
Lives Matter and St George of fentanyl shouldn't be in the UK. Yes, UK problems should be in America, like the grooming gangs. They're promoting that. They're showing the world the scandals. George Floyd was a scandal because he wasn't in prison. That's why it's a scandal.
Look, but let's disagree on this matter, yeah. But finally, yeah, let's talk about, yeah, specifically black on black killing, yeah, specifically, yeah. Let's talk about a murder which took place on a bus last week, and the thing that shocks me to the core is that the mum of the 14-year-old boy said she was not surprised when it happened.
Yeah, and all I can say is, we have on my side of the argument, we've shown this news more than anyone in Black Lives Matter. I haven't seen them out on the streets for this, but this is the problem, okay? When they diverting their attention away from the true cause. Now, this child's mother, said that he was groomed, okay, by older gangs. They went to social services. They had all these types of people involved in his life, and still nobody helped. That's the kind of issues that we need to resolve in the two coconuts. Why these people are not getting helped? Why the money is getting diverted to Marxist organisations like Black Lives Matter, but not to the street.
But Danny, why are you always putting the emphasis on institutions? Why are you always putting the emphasis on politicians? Earlier on you mentioned Sadiq Khan, but I'm saying, hold on, if a 6-year-old boy is being groomed at 6 years old, where was the cultural family structure around him? But I must make it clear, I am aware, and it has been disclosed, that, and with deep regret, that his dad died. Hence the reason Dad wasn't there. He was then put into care, and whilst being in care, the system failed him, and he was able to be groomed. But I'm asking the question, where were the family members? Where were the cousins, the uncles, the grandfathers? Why didn't they wrap a hand around?
It's quite simple, okay? It's because what the establishment have done is destabilised families, especially black families, with their narratives like Black Lives Matter, like critical race theory. They want to create this problem. So where are the people? Yeah, where are they? Well, they've been indoctrinized to then think people like Black Lives Matter are there to help them. So I put the emphasis onto the government, because the first job of a government is to make sure its people are safe. And when we've got NGOs and outside, foreign entities trying to destabilise communities because it's very profitable for them, that's where the problem is. The family should have done better, maybe. But hang on a minute, the social services, the care people knew what was going on, and they just turned their face. They should have done more. So let's not say it's the family that's the problem. We've got to say the social services and the establishment, the people who were there to protect children, That's the main problem. But yes, I have to agree the family should have done more. But whilst they all are fighting around critical race theory and trying to say that this is positive discrimination and this person is racially profiling me and all that, they're losing their view on what's important to them, and that's the family structure.
But let's agree more should have been done by the family. We don't know enough, but we can only go by what was reported.
Yeah.
My condolences, Dad had passed away. Mum, the Queen, the matriarch of the family, struggled to help and support. And as a direct result, let me just lay it on the table. As a direct result, he went into care. And let's agree that, whilst being put in care, Mum warned the establishment, the system, what was going on. And because her warnings were not heeded upon, what then happened was that the gangs were able to come in, offer family love, support, money, all kind of things, and they were able to groom and condition, and we know the result. But the issue I have, why are these gangs out there grooming others? Is it just down to family failures? Is it just down to the system failing our community? What needs to be done? Because also there's a distrust within the police. And also youngsters, if you look at the statistics, youngsters are killing youngsters. Why are youngsters carrying weapons? Why are youngsters carrying knives that are foot long? Why?
Half of it is because it's trendy. Number one, okay?
We're agreeing on something.
I know, that's a start, but I bet you'll have your own opinion. Number one is this, okay? When the head of the family, mother or father, cannot discipline the child, then that child ultimately will be rogue, okay? So in my day, my mum would have locked the door and not let me out of the house. You do that now, I could get my mum done for false imprisonment.
Danny,
this is the problem of the state.
My dad used to give me licks.
Exactly.
Licks.
There you go. That's there's control of the family. When that's gone, then other people can come in who can give you that licks, who can go and discipline. And these gangs who are grooming the kids, they're not doing it, it's not all lovey-dovey and that. The kids are probably scared that something will happen to the family member or to the brother or whatnot.
So there's a fear factor out there.
But the fear's not with the mum or the dad, it's taken to the gangs. And that's the problem. And that's what the government and the establishment has allowed to happen.
So can we also argue, Danny, in that fear factor, and you're talking about a fashion, what I've been researching is that, say 10 years ago, man will take a little penknife. Now, man will take a big knife that's over a foot long. And what I'm hearing, one of the reasons they're doing it, a knife that's a foot long, when you go and joke somebody, because you're distance away from them, the likelihood of them coming up, getting you back, is reduced. So they take weapons which are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But also, if you've got a weapon that's big, the next man, as a fashion, must equal or better your size.
Exactly, but I'll just go to the fact that this is an imported problem. This is imported from Africa, where these people are running across the plains with their choppers and their axes and things like that. So, this is why a lot of people are doing it, because in the black community, they're just using the cultural things. But you're right, if somebody has got a machete, you're going to go and try and get a sword. But the fact of the matter is, if they then knew that they go outside, the police will come and stop and search them, because the police are racially targeting you. Okay, you're not going to be carrying it out, and if you knew that if you did get caught with that foot-long knife, you're going to be going away not to these prison sentences. You're going to do hard labour, right? You're going to go and you're going to do something that's going to help the country's economy. Once you know that, and that's the only way it's going to happen, then that's what's needed, and it can happen because Keir Starmer, the scumbag who did it in the summer, you made sure everyone that went out to protest was classed as a rioter, and once they got arrested, they went straight in front of the court and straight in front of jail for 2-3 years. So you can do it, Keir Starmer. You refuse to do it. So that means there's an agenda with you and your Marxist Trotskyist government.
Let's look also at the role drill music and idolising, these drill artists plays, and also social media plays in what's going on within our community. So do you believe that drill artists have a role to play in reducing the disproportionate levels of killing within the community?
Yeah, I know it's a big debate over it, but I think if your lyrics are saying you're going to go and stab someone or you did this because they did that, then that's incitement. It's the same way.
Exactly.
You can't say it's art form, you can't say anything else. But I remember, years ago in the 60s, they said rock and roll was the devil's music. Rock and roll was what was going to make the kids go mad and mental. But during those times, they weren't talking about crimes, they weren't talking about stabbing. But on the flip side of it, you've got to remember there's Christian drill people out there who use honest lyrics, and they use lyrics about well-being and things like that. So it's not the music, it's the lyrics that they're allowed to say. And again, once you're allowed to say it, and they know that because they're predominantly black Africans or they're mixed race or whatever, because they're allowed to do it because of their race, and they won't get arrested because of their race, they will keep doing it. It goes worse and worse and worse. Then next thing you know, they're doing a hit before it happens, and the kids that are listening thinking, oh, they're going to do a hit on us. So they get shanked up, they go out, and there's murder on the streets. This is what it is. Let's not ban drill music, but let's ban and make it lyrics of incitement, the same way as we do to the radical Muslims, the same way as we do to anyone else, the people on the right. You will say your words of incitement. So let's put it to drill music, but I would say it's not the music itself, it's the one speaking the words.
What role does social media play in the high levels of black on black violence?
I don't think social media has any more of a role than anyone else, to be fair. The role it needs to do is highlight every single one. And, over the recent years, they haven't been doing it. But we've got to thank our friend over at Elon Musk and over at X, who's allowing us to have this conversation. Because the more people that understand it's not just a right-wing rhetoric of this black-on-black crime, the more people will be demanding justice for these, and also the more people that will kick out the Black Lives Marxists and make people. There are leaders in the community who are unsung, right? They do it just because they're helping the community. They are the people who need to be having the money and the nurturing so they can help their community. It's like the advert for, Saving Africa. Africans don't want to live out on handouts, but they want the opportunity to grow their way out of poverty. That's what we need to start doing to these people. Not just giving them handouts, not just giving them an easy life, but saying, listen, we'll allow you the tools to succeed, but it's down to you to do it.
Danny, that is so great, but in closing, this has been brought to you in association with Tommy Robinson. So we are currently on Tommy Robinson's Twitter page in association with Urban Scoop. And what is likely to come out of this is that what we want is that we want people who are interested in what we're proposing. There will be a documentary film coming out of this. And, if you want to become involved, send me an email to blackonblackviolence@yahoo.com. So send an email, blackonblackviolence@yahoo.com, and there will be a documentary film being made by Urban Scoop, and that will happen. And if it wasn't for Tommy Robinson and the people at Urban Scoop, we would not be in a position to be able to let you know what our plans are for later in the year. True or not, Mr. Coconut?
100%, and I just want to carry on with that sentiment, because the unsung heroes are people like Urban Scoop who have had all the attacks of the establishment because they chose to back Tommy Robinson and allow him to have his documentaries out. They're getting attacked left, right and centre. So they're the ones who have all the bad things against them, and they're still trying to go out and fight. So what I try and say is, please can you go over to urbanscoop.news and support them, because with them, they're allowing me to have a voice. We know my relationship with them. From the start, they've backed me. Now they're going on to doing Speaker's Corner, being associated with Wendell Daniels here, and they keep pushing the bar. But what needs to happen is they do need the support, they do need the funding to be able to say, do you know what, we can do this tenfold. Because at the moment, it's very, very small in what they're doing, but once we can get all around the country, they will be doing it, but they need your support the same way as I love your support. So thank you for watching.
But do you know what makes me laugh? Tommy Robinson, the narrative out there is that he's a right-wing racist, and he hates, in a minute, and he hates. So for those of you who are watching, we've got Shalini.
Hello.
So we'll be coming to Shalini in a minute. So give me a couple of minutes here, my darling. So if we go back, so Tommy Robinson is seen as a right-wing racist who dislikes black people and he dislikes Muslims, which is untrue. He has raised issues about grooming gangs in a particular community, but it's only a few, it's not the entire lot. But Danny, is Tommy Robinson racist? If he is, why are we on his Twitter channel?
Exactly that. You know my position on this from way back when. Tommy Robinson isn't racist, but what he is the most powerful speaker we've got in the UK. And this is why they try to make him out to be a racist, because, yes, they say, it's not a real bad grooming scandal, but the scandal is within the specifics. So once he's drilled down to specific people who are doing it, okay, that's where everyone is shocked now. And nobody would have known that because people like Rotherham Council have put it under the carpet because they don't want to be seen as being racist or racial.
But you're not going anywhere. I've just been sent a message. How many people are currently watching?
We've got 110,000 people watching.
No, there's 52,000 people currently. So he was going home. He ain't going home now because you're getting warmed up, and don't go anywhere because we're going to get Mutar woman as Shalini. But going back specifically to Tommy Robinson, and then I'm going to go along with Shalini. I believe you went to see Tommy Robinson in prison last week, yes or no?
Yes, I did. I went this time last week, it was.
Yeah. What was that like for you to go and see Tommy Robinson?
Well, obviously I'm showing my support. I'm seeing one of my brothers from a different mother inside. And it was important for me to let him know that we're all thinking about him and we will go and do what we can to support him. And that's one of the things that I was able to do. So I made it my mission to do it. So yeah.
But when you came out of that, is it Woodhill Prison you went?
Yeah, Woodhill Prison.
Because I saw something online that after you came out, you ripped up, is it an NDA?
Yeah.
What's that?
Right, so it's a non-disclosure agreement. So me to be able to visit my friend Tommy Robinson in prison, I had to sign this. So I signed it and I was like, what is this about? And they said, you can't talk about the conversation you had with him, which is a bit strange because they made it out, they made it specifically, this is not a media visit, it's a personal visit. So in a personal capacity, I can say what I like. So when I came out of there, I know there's been a lot of people who are sticking with it, and there's people who have been refused to see Tommy Robinson. So I thought, you know what? Tommy's in there because he refused to be gagged. The only way that I can carry on with my own convictions is to rip it up and tell them that I don't care about their NDA. I will continue to be talking about it, and then I'll put the ball on their court and see what are you going to do. Because if you think you can silence people seeing a friend in prison because it is Tommy Robinson, or because you may perceive they might have information, or you want to do something to him, remember, it's not going to happen. There are people out there who will be refusing that order, and it proves now, because I've had nothing done from it, but now I've got a few police officers around me.
But hold on, but Danny, you are demonstrating to me why you are a coconut. Yeah. Tell me, when you release your video, you had 150,000 views on Twitter, yes or no?
Oh yeah.
You also did an upload on your channel.
Yeah.
You had 2.7k views.
Yep.
I'm of the opinion you only did what you did for clicks.
No, I didn't do it for clicks, but I want to thank everyone doing it, because everyone who's watching it, they're watching it because they're seeing in real time, people defying these rubbish NDAs or these rubbish take away your speech. So everyone who's watched that, they watch that knowing that we don't have to be bound by their rules. If they demand something that's not legal in my eyes, then we're not going to be bound to it. So yes, people have watched it, and I thank everyone for watching it.
But Danny,
only a coconut like Wendell would say it's only for views, because I'm here for the patriotic side of things. I do my things on freedom of speech. So, if they're going to try and do that, it was only obvious what I was going to do.
But, excuse me, but Danny, you've now done that. I argue you've achieved nothing, because what's going to happen now, you said nothing has happened yet, but I bet if you make an application to go back, you won't be allowed. And if you can't go back, you're not going to be able to see Tommy, you're not going to be able to have a discussion with him. So what did you achieve? Coconut?
What I achieved was Woodhill Prison not going to be able to do anything about an NDA, and 150,000 people have seen that. Will I go back to the prison? No, I won't be allowed back in the public. But do I want to be able... But hang on a minute, Wendell. Hang on a minute. Yeah? When you see a freedom fighter, when you see someone... When you see someone as big as Tommy and as influential as Tommy, and you see him caged up behind fences and door after door after door, do you know what? I wouldn't want to go back anyway. So it's win for Danny, 0 for Woodhill Prison.
Big up. So this is a taster of what it's going to be like for the Two Coconuts podcasts. We will be coming to you live and direct from the streets. But what is important, me and Danny come from different sides of the coin. We don't always agree. We haven't agreed on many things today. I think the only thing we've agreed on, technically, is Tommy's a freedom fighter. And also earlier on, when we spoke about black on black violence, he mentioned about the need for increased stop and search. I agreed on that, but I believe everything this Coconut has said is irrational.
Yeah, and it's always the rational people that say that things I say is irrational, isn't it? We all know.
So Danny, all I can say is thank you very much. We're now going to be engaging with Shalini, but people love you. But look to the camera, talk to the people, tell them about your channel. If they want to follow you, how can they do so?
You all know my channel, it's Danny Unfiltered. I'm unfiltered, I'm on Twitter, and I am probably shadow banned everywhere else. But you know where to find me, Danny Unfiltered on Twitter. Thank you all for watching. Keep watching as well, because there's going to be some great stuff going on. And do you know what? Just click the share button, share it to your friends, put it in your WhatsApp group, because going forward, Sunday Speakers Corner, this content and the Two Coconuts content, it's going to be changing the game. But anyway, thank you.
Big up.